States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Those flags are close, huh?
Thought I was having something wrong with that.
All right. Minutes of January 26th. We have minutes of 26th, February 9th.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I believe these are the minutes that we passed over at the last meeting, and I think they could be approved with the addition of Charlie attaching his own report from his attendance at the water and sewer meeting afterwards. So I would move the approval of the January 26 minutes with an attachment from Charlie.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All right, if none, call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next minutes are February 9th of the meeting and public hearing that was held that evening. Does anybody have anything they want to add?
Reviewed these minutes. I haven't found any corrections, so I would move the minutes approved of February 9th.
Second.
Been seconded. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Announcements. The Select Board will meet on the following dates. The regular meetings will be at 6 p.m. March 23rd and April 13th. Work review sessions prior to the regular meetings will start at 5 p.m. Work session meetings, 5 p.m. will be held on March 2nd and March 16th. All the above meetings will be held in the Town Hall unless otherwise posted. The annual meeting for the Plymouth Elementary School will be held on March 2nd, 2009 at 7 p.m. at the elementary school. Town elections will be held on March 10th, 2009 at the Plymouth Elementary School from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The annual meeting will be held on March 11th, 2009 at 7 p.m. at the elementary school. And the annual Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District meeting will be held on March 12th, 2009 at 7 p.m. at the Pease Public Library in the lower level meeting room. The weather observations for the month of January are available in the Town Hall. Takes care of the announcements, right? Cold and snowy. Agenda review. Does anybody have anything they want to add or to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, nothing. All right, visitors. We have none tonight. Any updates? None. Appointments? We have none. Land use permit announcements. 6 Burner Bistro, 13S Main Street, Plymouth, has been approved for a wall sign. 6 Burner Bistro has also been approved for a freestanding sign. Nationwide Aircraft Sales, Inc. on 12 Yetton Road, Suite B8, has been approved for interior fit-up for a Unit 7. And Vincent Construction LLC, Fairpoint, 72 Langdon Street, has been approved to install wall hung AC units. That takes care of that. Under Chairman comments, this announcement. Starting this Wednesday, the PB Cam Channel 3 has produced a program to inform voters on proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance that will appear as warrant articles on the 2009 ballot. The full program can be viewed on PBGov-3 Mondays at 1 p.m. and Wednesday at 7 p.m. and Friday at 7 a.m. until Election Day, March 10th, 2009. Like we said before, these zoning ordinances are quite quite the elaborate wording with them, so it would take a little bit. This is a great program to help educate people that before they go into the voting booth, because there's a lot there to read. So this would be a great way to educate yourself. Purchase orders, we don't have any. Under new purchase orders, I don't think we have any. Committee reports. Start with you, Patrice.
I have nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
John?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Charles, please. There's been virtually no business as far as the planning board is concerned for the last 2 or 3 times, so.
Charlie?
Nothing to report. I missed the water board meeting because of the dinner we had with Congressman Hogue. It was on the same night. So.
Okay. All right. On other business, we'll bring up stimulus package. Paul?
Mr. Chairman, like Mr. Berman just mentioned, last Tuesday, myself, Charlie, Patrice, and Kate attended a meeting at the county manager. Congressman Hodes was present and started the beginning discussions of stimulus package and economic development in New Hampshire. And today I met with Senator Reynolds here at the town hall, and a few things that I wanted to go over with you is the money obviously hasn't arrived in the state of New Hampshire yet. We're all anticipating it. We've all put our wish list together, but that's all we have right now. It's just wish list. At this time, there is still, and the senator wants to make clear, there still is not an application process out there to use to apply for any of the money. The governor has appointed Bud Fitch as economic stimulus coordinator, and what's going to happen is Deb's going to start her first meeting with him next Tuesday, March 3rd, and Senator Reynolds and myself will be working closely with each other on pursuing as many grants as possible for the town of Plymouth, and we just want to assure the citizens of the town that there isn't anything that we're not going to apply for that we feel that we have a chance of getting. The money seems like it's going to be coming in 36 different categories approximately. Many of them are leaning towards the school and water and sewer districts. I believe a lot of the money is going to be at a state level, infrastructure like 93, stuff like that. But we'll pursue things from the fire station to the library expansion to the light out on Tenny Mountain Highway that the DOT is saying that we need to pursue. So I think that's an important one. That's a project that DOT is saying that they want us to do it. It's on a state highway. I think it's definitely shovel ready, as they put it. And a lot of our projects will be shovel ready, including repairs to our different stations, whether it be the police department, the fire department, and 50% reimbursement for the rescue that we're going to be purchasing that we feel not only serves Plymouth but serves the surrounding communities. I think whenever we can pursue money that also is encompassing more than just the town of Plymouth, we might have a better chance at it. But we're not going to leave any stone unturned. We're going to pursue as much as we can. But at this time, we just wanted to make it clear that there is no money yet in the state of New Hampshire to be had, and there is no process to apply for it as of this time. Maybe in a couple of weeks, as soon as that happens, Senator Reynolds and myself will definitely be going after it. That does not mean that we haven't sent our wish list to everybody that we can think of, from LGC to Primex to NHMA. They all have it, and it's all sitting on somebody's desk somewhere. But I know that the word's out there that some people think that we might have missed the boat or something like that, because everybody has seen this wish list passed around, and Plymouth wasn't necessarily on some of the wish list because they weren't going anywhere at this time. But they will go someplace. So I don't know if there's any questions on any more than that, but I just wanted to also mention at this time, like, my biggest concerns is to at least compensate for possible lost revenue. Because if you were to look at the governor's budget as it stands at this time, we will be losing $412,000 a year for the next 4 years. because the governance process budget is calling for no more shared revenue, which is your meal tax, and your road tax, and from the tolls and stuff like that. So Plymouth's portion of that pie is $412,000. That's money that we've always depended on, and we will now lose that as revenue. And I'm hoping that we're not just going to see a wash here where we lose 412 on one hand and gain 412 on another hand. My definition to Senator Reynolds today was a stimulus package is something beyond what we already have.
Right.
And if we're just going to break even, that's not going to really stimulate anything. And another concern that I have is House Bill 99 is going before the Senate, and I talked to Senator Reynolds about that today. That will, the details within that bill will allow dealerships to do registrations right at the dealership of new and used vehicles. So we'll lose hundreds of thousands of dollars here at the town hall, in the town clerk's office, as will all of our surrounding communities that don't have a lot of dealerships within their town. Because the way the bill is written, wherever the dealership is located, that's the town that will receive that revenue. So that's an important bill to keep an eye on.
Yeah, who introduced that bill, do you know?
Senator Reynolds has had the names of the people that introduced it, and she's going to be tracking it. So we'll be updating you on that, and she may actually be coming to a work session next Monday to discuss both bills.
Okay. Yes, Patricia.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to, for the benefit of the public, it would be great if individuals were to contact our representatives and Senator Reynolds to let her know how damaging this would be to our town. The car registration fees are some of the highest revenues that we have in our town clerk's office. Under the governor's budget, as Paul stated, we're set to lose $412,000 yearly for the next several years. Hopefully that will change. But if we do sustain that kind of loss, in addition to take away our revenues of car registration fees, and that would really be unsustainable. So I don't know whose idea this was to allow the car dealers to keep the money in wherever the dealerships are. I assume it's one of the larger cities that probably put this in, that they saw that as a way to make up their shortfall in the governor's budget, but this would really cripple our small town. So I would appreciate everybody out there just picking up the phone or emailing our representatives and letting them know that this kind of thing, there's just no reason for it at this time to take away that kind of revenue from the small towns. We really need that to keep running.
I do have the sponsors if somebody else wants to take a shot at their names. I'll try to sum it up. Senator Letourneau.
Okay.
From District 19. Senator Gatsas, Gatsas,
Yep.
District 16.
Nashville.
Yes.
Senator Downing, District 22. Representative Packard, says Rock 3. Representative Nadeau,
Yep, NATO.
from Belk 3. Representative M. O'Brien, Hills 23. And I'm not going to be able to say it. Representative Katsakorius, Katsakorious.
Say that again, Paul. C-A-T.
I'll do just as good at it the second time. Katsakorious from Rock 5.
Okay, well, what's important is that we just let our own representatives know this is something we need to oppose.
And that's Bill 90, what was it?
Senate Bill 99.
Senate Bill 99. And our representative is
Senator Reynolds.
Senator Reynolds,
And we have Mary Cooney, Representative Cooney, and our new representative that we haven't met yet, Suzanne Smith. That's
Okay. Very good, thanks, Paul. Yeah, these look like they're all from the southern part of the state district.
It's dealership towns.
right.
Yep.
It's the dealerships. So
And what that actually does is it's bringing a lot of revenue to those towns that are supporting the bill, because obviously people from our district and stuff, like they go outside of
Mhm.
our area to purchase both new and used vehicles. And it's taking money out of all the county and the district around this particular area.
Right, well, I can definitely understand that making it easier for people to register their cars when they buy a vehicle, but I think we need to emphasize how the small towns, I mean, this is a tax that we've been relying on, the actual tax on used and new vehicles. And if they take that away from the towns, that's going to leave a big gap in your budget.
But a reminder that I want to put out there, that people are forgetting, we now collect a fee on each registration for the infrastructure of our roads.
Right.
And that happens to, we have about $195,000 in capital reserve just for the repair of our roads. So we'll also lose that.
That's right, the $5
Right.
surcharge on every registration that goes to the town.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, very good, thanks, Paul. Next item on other business is we have the letter of interest from Paul Wilson, appointment, fill a vacant position on the planning board.
Mr. Chairman, we discussed at our work session the current vacancies on the planning board, and based on seniority, I would like to recommend Bert Sutcliffe to move from a position of alternate into a regular position, and also to recommend Paul Wilson as an alternate. At this time, I feel that after town meeting at the reorganization board, we will be able to fill in more vacancies. And we just like to, we've established a process where we're trying to train people as alternates before moving them into the full seat. And an ad has been placed in the paper so that any other citizens interested in serving on the planning board could submit their names for consideration. And we have a number of vacancies coming up. So at this time, I would place the name of Bert Sutcliffe as a regular and Paul Wilson as an alternate for the planning board.
All right, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that the two names be placed before us for the respective positions. Paul Wilson is an alternate and Bert Sutcliffe is as a regular member.
All right.
Okay, second.
Been seconded by, geez, okay, any further discussion? Okay, if none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We had a letter of interest to Fred Gould, who would like the reappointment to the planning board. She's not even, we'll act on that later. Okay, but it's great to hear that Fred's interested. So. Public comments. Anybody have any public comments? Jay?
Sorry. I just wanted to add a couple of things. Earlier it was mentioned that the Water and Sewer District annual meeting was going to be on the 12th of March at the library. Because we're moving the Channel 3 cablecast operations tomorrow over to Pease Public Library, we can go live on Channel 3 either from Town Hall or there.
Oh, wow.
So the Water Sewer meeting will be live.
All right,
Great.
very good.
Also, what was the other thing? I forget what the other thing was, so it wasn't all that important.
Is
Yes.
that permanent?
Yes, that's permanent. Tomorrow we'll be moving, right now Channel 3 cablecast is out here at Town Hall. Tomorrow, as part of the grant project that I talked to you about earlier in the month, we're actually moving it. We've got the equipment in, Time Warner is coming in tomorrow, and we're going to move Channel 3 over there. So both channels will cablecast out of the library, and that's the next step in getting emergency messaging on both channels too.
Okay. All right, so wait a minute, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Can you clarify, we're going to have live broadcasts from both here and the
Yeah, we
library?
can do for both here or the library on
Okay.
either channel.
Great.
So-
Excellent.
so-
All right,
And
thanks,
that way,
Jane.
when we have parades also, we can simulcast on both channels live. So,
Okay, great.
Amy,
yes.
what about the other plans to extend this to other locations, such as the university or
Right, well, there was some talk a while back that the
The school
electric co-op wanted to work out an agreement with the university so that they could have their annual meetings over at Silver. And we're going to try to work out a connection between the university and our channels. Those discussions stopped somewhere along the line. I'm not sure if that's still going on, but certainly that would be, I would have no problem with that. Obviously, there would have to be some negotiations between the university and the town to make that happen, but.
How about the high school, for the school?
The high school and the elementary school, we do have in our franchise agreement the ability to add live drops to those buildings. I think we still have to pay for the fiber to run from those buildings, and running fiber cable is expensive. We were quoted $5,000 to go from town hall to the library. So you can imagine how much more expensive it would be to go from the high school to the library.
Right.
But yeah, we can do it. It's just a matter of can we afford to do it. That's, and I remember what the other thing was now. The proposed amendments, not only is it going to be on Channel 3, but for people who can't watch it on that schedule, it's also on our Facebook page, so they can watch it online. You can find our Facebook page. We have a link to it on our main page on the town website. So go to the town website, click on town departments, and then look for PB Cam, and right on our main page we have a link to our Facebook page.
Very good.
That and the public hearing on SB2 for the school district is also on our Facebook page.
Great.
Good job. Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie. Boy, we're connected now.
Any other public comments? Yes, Jim.
Not my comment, but I don't want to put Charlie on the spot, but I didn't hear us talk about the candidate night. Did you want to make any announcements?
So,
That's
well,
on there?
I did that at the last meeting, but yeah, the candidates night is this Wednesday at the senior center from 7 to
7 and 9.
7 and 9. And I think they've got all the selectmen. I don't know if any of the school district people are going to show. I know my daughter-in-law, for one, isn't going to be here. I don't think the other candidate, the only elementary school board candidate is, I think, Omer Ahern will be at the candidates night. And I think the rest of them, we've invited everybody, but I don't know how many are going to be there. I haven't seen the list yet.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Charlie, I saw in the paper that it's going to be canned, for a better word, questions, that you won't be able to ask questions at that point. And if anybody is interested in asking questions, not to put a plug in for the Columbia Citizens paper, but there is on one of the pages an email address that you can write to your questions and send it in to the email. But I don't believe there'll be any live questions, the way that I understood it from the
I don't know that, Marcia asked me about, did you ever submit yours to
Not yet,
John
no,
Roy?
we'll do it.
The key is, if you want to ask a question from the floor, it would be through John Roy. I don't think they've limited questioning.
Oh, then the paper, my interpretation of the paper was wrong, and if that is the case, because it sounded like, if you want to ask questions, please submit your questions to email so-and-so. And it didn't say anything about there'll be live questions at the floor.
I don't know, I'm sure that can be changed.
So, it could be quite a difference as far as what questions are asked, because if it's live questions, you can get questions that probably would expand the discussion a lot more than if you had canned questions, and they can eliminate the questions they don't want and put in questions that they do want.
Yeah, I think I'll talk to John Roy and find out what his position is, but he's going to hire it. I don't think he has any objection to taking questions from the floor.
Okay. Any other comments?
I have one on the stimulus package. The Water and Sewer District has a $6.1 million bond issue. It's on the agenda. It's a warrant article on their annual meeting, which is at the library on the 12th or 13th. And that that is, it's as close to a shovel-ready project as you can get. Whether they spend them, if it's authorized, whether they spend the money or how much they spend will depend on what sort of federal stimulus money they can get. They're sort of banking on it. I have no idea whether, how they're going to word it at the meeting, but it's something that ought to be brought up for discussion at the water and sewer meeting. That plus the rate increase structure. They've opted for proposal B, which is a 5,000 gallon minimum as opposed to the 10 that's currently in effect. And the effect that'll have an adverse effect on the higher usage customers. The per gallon rate, it's relatively modest, but I mean, they're trying to accommodate, I believe it's 180 ratepayers out of about 800 who are under the 10,000 gallon usage.
Mr. Chairman, just, I know it might be not relevant to the selectmen, but I talked to a citizen the other day, and he has indicated that we're really focused on the surge plant, but his main concern was the wells, the water wells. We have 2 of them down on Foster Street. One is a real old one, and he indicated that there had been plans for another well there and one out near the Baker River, near Arlington Farm, and nothing has been said about them at all. And his concern is that we need the water. We can always get rid of the waste. So it's just something to think about and not focus quite so much on the surge as we do the water, because water is a life-sustainable type of material.
Alex Ray brought up one of the wells is high in, I don't know what, nitrogen, or there's a high content of some chemical that is not, it's adverse to places like restaurants and things like that. And the water district indicated that they were, I don't think they've got any plans for another well. But, they are moving a lot of their water usage to the newer well, which is difficult.
Is that the one up behind Arlington now?
Yeah,
up
I think so.
Tennymout,
Yeah,
now.
yeah. But, you know, all that should be on the table at their annual meeting. I sort of hope that enough people with a $6 million bond issue will attend the meeting to the point where they may have to move it, because they can only seat 40 or 50 people over there. And that meeting averages 23, 24 people. And they have bond issues that would make us blush right now. Not to say it's not needed, but because I think what they're trying to accomplish makes sense, but it's going to seriously affect the water rates. I don't know what a $6 million bond issue is, but it's about $800,000 the first year. So you divide $800,000 by 800 ratepayers, and you're looking at some serious money. And I don't think anybody, they feel the water district is for some reason, people don't feel the need to attend that meeting, and I think it's something that they should get interested in, because we could have water rates that are much higher than they are today. And as I say, I don't know what the answer is.
Okay. Any more comments, public comments? Okay, if none, non-public session. Do you have anything?
On the A.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Non-public session in accordance with RSA 91-A:3, 2, A, B, or C, personnel.
That'll be A.
Be A.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we enter non-public session under RSA 91A3 2A. Personnel.
Been seconded by Charlie. All those in favor? Patrice?
Aye.
Butch, aye. Charlie?
Hi.